Hello. Today I want to talk about shapes / geometry and sound / Hertz. So you've probably heard me talk about Hertz before. If not, Hertz is a vibration. It can basically be measured mathematically, scientifically by how many times an item, an object vibrates per second. So if a instrument was making a vibration of, 111 hertz, then that would usually mean that the sound that it's being created is vibrating at 111 times per second. That's just a really simple sort of way to understand that. Now, when it comes to things like geometry, obviously geometry are shapes, and some would say geometry is actually sound, but being made visible through to the human eye. And obviously humans aren't the only beings that see geometry. There's lots of other life forms on the planet that also sees geometry as well. However, we can at this moment really only know what geometry looks like to the human eye. Who knows, maybe in the future we might be able to understand what geometry looks like to other animals, to other plants. There probably already is some research being done on that, and if you know anything about that, you're welcome to leave a link in the description box below as well. So I've also talked about cymatics before. I can leave a link in the description box below about cymatics and what that is. It's very similar to what I'm talking about. There's also sacred geometrical shapes that are also associated with particular hertzes. Anyway, and that to me sounds pretty cool, and I really enjoy looking into that. It's something that I've been enjoyed listening to, especially in some podcasts lately. So there's all sorts of shapes, right? Circles, hexagrams, pentagrams, octagons, a lot of 2D shapes. But what you may start to find is that the higher the hertz is, start getting to thousands of hertz, is when the shapes start to go from 2D to more 3D, and then they start becoming into 4D, 5D. They start becoming a more higher dimensional types of shapes, which is pretty cool. It's cool to me. This is my opinion, okay? Just my opinion. And the other thing that I really have enjoyed working, I'm not sure to say working, but learning more about over the last number of years is also how those shapes are used in particular places, and also how some of those sort of shapes may have been used, and the fact that they are still present in a lot of sacred sites around the world. So, in places of worship, should I say. So especially if it is, or it was, a space that worked a lot with music and sound. And from what I am aware, most places that are what people would consider sacred or places of worship would harness the power of sound. There would be not very many places in the world that they would not. And especially when we're newly discovering, or should I say remembering, particular places in the world of sacred sites and worship, it might not be prevalent at first. However, as more research is done, it's then shown to us, there's a particular reason why particular places have particular things within them. There's a reason why they have particular shape in which these spaces are built. There's a reason why there's particular angles or circular motions of circular shape, should I say. Excuse me. Within those spaces. Sound is really, it is really magical, and we're really only remembering and scratching the slight surface of the power of that. Even modern day churches, there's a reason why they are built, especially when you think about those Christian churches, there's a reason why they're built a particular way. Even they create slight sound amplifications, right, with the singing and the other maybe musical instruments that might be playing, and the atmosphere that creates, and the magic and the vibrations as well. Excuse me. So yeah, so with the shapes and these, sacred geometry, like they can be quite mathematical, but they can also be discovered through intuition. And you may find that some people have intuitively been able to associate particular shapes with particular Hertzes. And then, the more scientific minded person has come along and tested that, and not even known that people have intuitively, seen a particular shape associated with a particular sound or a particular Hertz. They've done their own research completely separate to that, and then people are then going, oh wait, there's actually a correlation, or there's a similarity here, or and then obviously not all but many modern day humans are going, how is that possible? While those that are more connected with the ancient wisdoms are just kind of giggling and laughing to themselves. Another story for another day. So if you want, of course, you can do your own research around shapes and Hertz and what kind of shapes get created with particular Hertz. I am aware that there's particular researchers, and there is scientists and mathematicians out there that have invested a lot of their energy, their time, their life into this kind of work. And then there's also those that are just, just starting to delve into that as well. As we're sort of obviously seeing this huge escalation around technology, there's a lot of science obviously nowadays that's being uncovered, remembered, being ventured into. That's also backing up particular wisdoms that our ancient peoples and ancestors already knew. And so obviously now, as we're sort of potentially merging more of those things together, it's in a really interesting time. I know there's elements of, fear around, obviously things like AI, but there's also an element of, or an emotion of excitement too, of like, where is this going? What are the potentials in this? And obviously it's more safer for the human if a lot of these discoveries or remembrances are then applied in the things that we create through the intentions of more of this space, more of the heart, and obviously the gut as well. Because when we get a little bit too much up in here, we can get a little bit disconnected from the higher intentions or the more expansiveness that can be explored in those realms. Anyway, I'm sort of diverging away from the topic, so I'm going to finish up here. You're more than welcome to leave any comments or questions down below, and I will see you in the next vlog.